This is Billa Rajendra from Government Degree College, Muttani, with the Delhi district, lecture in English. Today, I'm going to discuss about the topic of phonetics. Now, as we all know that how the importance of phonetics regarding to the English language is important. So, while we are speaking the language, it is most important thing that we have to learn three important things. That is, first one is pronunciation, and second one is stress, and the third one is intonation. So while we are concentrating on only now uh, now we are only concentrating on only one thing, important thing, that is about the pronunciation. Pronunciation means the right pronunciation of a word. That means there are some changes while pronouncing the British language and American languages. We can say that we will take some examples about the pronunciation uh, about the British and American languages. British languages, they can pronounce it as in a word like DANCE. DANCE. It can be pronounced as dance for Britishers, and the same spelling DANCE is pronounced as dance for American English. So there are some changes in the spelling also. We can observe the American English and the British English. CENTER pronounced as center. CENTER is pronounced as center in American English, and spelling is CENTER. And for British English, CENTRE. CENTRE. Pronunciation is same, but the spelling is different, just like colors. COLOUR for Britishers and the COLOR for Americans. So it is most important thing that we have to follow some of the mm, language skills that may be for pronunciation. For good pronunciation, we have to follow some language skills in this specific way where we are learning about the phonetics. Phonetics is the study of scientific study of speech sounds. Phonetics is the scientific study of speech sounds. Like that, as we all discussed in previous classes about we are discussing about the articles, we come to know, we discussed about the pronunciation and most importantly about the phonetics and the sound symbols of English language. So, as we all know that English alphabets are 26. That means in English language we can see 26 alphabets, but these 26 letters can produce the 44 sound symbols, and the 44 sound symbols may be divided into two categories: vowel sounds and the consonant sounds. As we all know that letters may be also consisting of vowel letters, consonant letters. A, E, I, O, U are called as vowel letters in English alphabet, and all the rest of the alphabets are called as consonant letters. Like this, we can see vowel sounds and consonant sounds are divided into two categories. And vowel sounds, they have 20 sound symbols. They are 20 in sound, and they are sound. They are 20 sound symbols are there, and rest 24 are consonant sounds. The study of the way human makes the transmit and receive the sounds. So as we all know that people, that means from the childhood we have been addicted to imitate others. Imitate others means in a way of learning things and pronunciation and all those things. Like that here, phonetics means English is not a phonetic language. We have to understand that English is not a phonetic language. As we all know that the most difficult language to understand or able to speak or able to write, able to understand is in the world is only one language, that is Telugu. Why? Because it has 56 letters and it may consist a number of sounds in Telugu language. And moreover, when we come to the Telugu English language, the sound symbols and sounds which may have, we have only 44 sounds in English language, and except from that, just we can understand in Telugu language 56 letters are there, and 56 letters again can give different like 56 sounds. So as we all know that when we are learning about the phonetic languages, it may consist of three main subfields. So for pronunciation, why we are not able to say call it as English? Why we are not able to call English as a phonetic language means it's an unphonetic language. Why? Because one letter can give different sounds, and different letter can give us the same sound. And we can say that even though uh, that means we can come across with all these things in our next slide shows. Before going to learn that, we may have to understand about the phonetics. Phonetics may consist of three main subfields. Phonetics may consist of three main subfields. One is articulatory phonetics, and this we can say that another one is acoustic, and third one is perceptual phonetics. So when we go through with the articulatory phonetics, how speech sounds are produced by the tongue, lip, vocal cords, and folds. By the tongue, lips, vocal cords, and folds, they may called as articulatory phonetics. Acoustic phonetics means the speech sounds are transmitted from the producer to perceiver. Producer to perceiver. Perceiver means a man who is going to receive the sounds of language. Then perceptual phonetics means how listener can understand and which speech or sound being produced. A listener, how listener can understand and speech sounds are being produced. Next, we'll go through with the phonology. Phonology means the study of sound systems of particular language called as phonology. That means we can say that English language is also linked with linguistics. Linguistics means it's a systematical. That means it's a subject which learns about the origins of languages. Origins of languages. So here, phonology is the study of sound and system of the language. Phonology means the sound and the system, sound system of a language. That means each and every language has its own unique sounds in their pronunciation. Like that, while we are pronouncing, simply we can understand that while a uh, while a Britishers was is speaking English language, simply some people may understand and some people may not understand about that particular language. Why? Because there are a lot of differences between the native speakers of native speakers of English and non-native speakers of English languages. Even though, as we know that George Bernard Shaw, in his one of the radio listen, he said that even the native speakers of English language is not able to speak properly. Why? Because of they can have their own unique style of speaking. Like they are not able to pronounce properly because word like yes, yes is also pronounced in a different way as a native speakers of the language. Because as we know that there is a great impact of the mother tongue in the language while they are speaking or while they are pronouncing, we can easily understand about the impact of the mother tongue. So phonology is one of the sound system of the language. Phonology is the study of sound system of the language. What is phoneme? Phoneme is a phonological segment that can be phonetically predicted by the rule. Phonetically predicted by a rule. For suppose we can say that here we have given the sound ba in bite. It's like bit, 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 and pa in pit, pit. So the sound symbols may be uh, uh, cannot be changed, and most probably we have to understand that the sound symbols of language cannot be changed, and the letters are different, and as well as the sound symbols are different in English language. And articulation, what is mean by articulation, and how we can easily understand about the articulation of the language? The act of the vocal cord, vocal expression. That means vocal expression means as we are speaking and just we are producing the sounds, and the production of the sounds may be with the expression of vocal cords, and without without expression, without vibrating of the vocal cords, we can not utter even a single pronunciation. So like that here, try to understand about the act of the vocal cord of expression and utterance or pronunciation. An articulation is the group of sentiments. Articulation is the group of sentiments. And here we have to understand that articulation is the pronunciation of the vocal cord and utterance. And second, we have to understand the act and the manner of the producing a speech sound. That means simply there are number of poets expressed about this sounds of the languages. For suppose if we can go through with one of the poem written by written scene, it means it's a familiar poem to all the people. Twinkle twinkle little star. Twinkle twinkle little star means here in the poem the word twinkle is twice by because of making the speech sound audible, and the listener is easily catch the sounds, and easily he can find out, and easily he can pronounce it again. So like that, what that act of the manner producing a sound, the act or manner of producing a speech sound may be called as articulation. And a speech is especially a consonant. A speech is especially a consonant. And third one, a joining together or being joined together, and the method of manner of jointing. Matter of jointing. That means, particularly while we are speaking the language, we have to follow some rules and regulations for the articulation of the language. And languages are made of vowels and consonant sounds, as we all know the reality. That means languages are really made by the sounds of vowel and consonants. And when we go through with the letters, alphabets, languages alphabet letters are made with some consonant letters, and as well as vowel letters. While we go through with the next one, vowels, most of the vowel sounds are modified by the shape of the lips only. They are sounded, they are spread, they are looser. They are rounded or spread. And in English language, we can say that some there is, to be say frankly, there is no word without a vowel letter or vowel sound in their word framing. So sounds are made by the vibrating the vocal cords like voicing. Sounds are making vibration like vibration of voicing with the vocal cords. The next vowel can be single sounds, and they are called maybe they are represented with two or three kinds. One is monophthongs. They may be also called as pure vowels. Monophthong means a single sounded symbols may be called as monophthongs. And double sounded diphthongs. Diphthong means it's a combination of two vowel sounds like ae, oe, ow. These are the sounds. They are actually monophthongs are 20, monophthongs are 12, then diphthongs are 8. Then triple sounds also there that they are called as diphthongs and ow. So we can see later on what about the sounds and what is phonetics. While we go through with the phonetics, phonetics is the study of human speech sounds. Phonetics is the study of human speech sounds. Particularly, we learned about this particular three things about the phonetics: articulatory, acoustic, and auditory phonetics. There are three kinds of, and how speech sounds are made and produced by the human vocal apparatus. How speech sounds are made by the human vocal apparatus. That means human vocal cords. Human vocal cords, how they are making the sounds, that is the most important thing for learning phonetics. And transmission of the physical properties of the speech sounds. Transmission and physical properties of the speech sounds can be, we can easily understand in perception of speech sounds. These are the acoustic phonetics means the physical properties of the speech sounds we can easily understand, and the perception of speech sounds can be understand here. And what is the difference between the phonetics and phonology? Phonology is what we can deal with the sounds and the system of the language. Sound systems of the languages. Phonology is deals with the sound system of the languages, and phonetics is deals the physical realization of the elements of the sound system. Example, how the sound is physically produced. Articulatory phonetics and acoustic and characteristic speech sounds are acoustics. You can say that acoustic phonetics. So phonology deals with only sound system of the language, but phonetics deals with the physical realization of the element of the sound system, and how we are going to produce and we are going to pronounce a language. That is the most important thing. And for most probably, I would like to say that for learning English language, it is the first and foremost thing that we have to learn about the pronunciation of the language or the word is the most important thing. Well, because if you are not able to pronounce it properly, we cannot understand the language. So it's okay. There are so many influences like mother tongue and all the other languages influences also there in English language, but it cannot be modified. We have to look it as a separate language, as a separate pronunciation for learning English language. And identifying speech sounds is most important thing. That's ignoring the non-linguistics in spoken languages. For suppose if you take an example about the man, fine, how are you about? How cough are you? How cough are you? When fine, how are you? How about you? Cough is a non-linguistics. How cough is here is a non-linguistics language is spoken language. It means simply we can take another example about the spoken languages. Spoken language is different and as written language is different. And for spoken language, there is no that means there is no strict rules to follow grammatical expressions. But in written language, it should be compulsory to follow grammatical structural language writing. So here we can think about another important thing is that uh, whatever the language it may be, we can speak that the listener is also able to understand it properly. That can be a good communication. Language is meant for communication. Language is meant for communication, and the listener has to understand about the speaker's voice. That is the most important thing for language learning. And learning English language with speech sounds is most important thing. That is what we can call it as phonetics. So here we can look about the IPA alphabets for English. So these are the sound symbols that we can say that these are all the sound symbols. We can say the we can go through with it. A, O, Ya, A, Ba, Kha, Da, sorry, Sa, Da, The, A, Sa, U, U, A, A, Fa, Ga, Ha, E. Like that we can say the number of sound symbols. That means there are only 44 sound symbols. We will look about later. And the sound segments. Knowing the language includes knowing the sounds of that particular language. Knowing a language includes knowing the sounds of that particular language. That is most important thing for sound segments. That means if we want to say that I know the language, you have to know the sounds, and the sounds of the particular language also have the most important thing. And phonetics is the phonetics is the study of speech sounds. That's what we will understand, and we are able to segment. We are able to segment on the continuous stream of speech into distinction parts and recognize the parts in another in other words. So everyone who knows the language knows how to segment the sentence into words and words into sounds, and identifying the speech source of the identity of speech sounds is most important thing. Is our linguistic knowledge allows us to ignore the non-linguistic differences in speech, such as an individual speeches like the levels and the rate of speed and the cough. That means the level of speech and level of pitch. That means the level of pitch is related to intonation part. Intonation means rising, falling tone of a sentence, and how we have to rise our sentence, how we have to fall in a sentence. According to the rules and regulations of the speech, language, speaking language, that should be we can easily understand about how we have to rise and how we have to fall. So our linguistic knowledge allow us to ignore the non-linguistic differences in speech, such as individual features. Like when we go through with the intonation part about the pitch levels, WH questions which may ask for personal interest may be uh, put in falling tone. But here So many people in their according to their mother tongue influence, they would like to speak it in a rising tone. So WH questions which may ask for personal interest, they may be falling tone. So like that, we have to go through with ignoring non-linguistic differences, and we are capable of making sounds that are not speech sounds in English language, but they are other languages. We are capable of making sounds that are not speech sounds in English, but are in other languages. That means influence of mother tongue, influence of other languages can be seen in our speech sounds. And the science of the phonetics aims to describe all the sounds of the world's languages. The science of phonetics aims to be describe all the sounds of the world languages. And acoustic phonetics focuses on the physical properties of the sounds of the languages. Acoustic phonetics only focus on the physical properties of the sound language. And auditory phonetics that focuses only the listeners and perceive the sounds of the languages. Auditory Auditory phonetics means the listeners perceive the sounds of the language. Acoustic phonetics means the physical properties of the sounds of the language. And articulatory phonetics focuses how vocal cords are to track and produce the sounds of the particular language is articulatory phonetics. That may be very important for a learner of language. And here, when we go through with the next thing, spelling and or orthography does not consistently represent the sounds of the language. Spelling or orthography does not consistently represent the sounds of the language. Spelling, as we know that it's a word, it's a thing that we can see related with the vocabulary. So spelling is also most important for the writing language, and where we all go through with it's not consistently represent the sounds of the language, and there are some problems with the ordinary spellings, and they may sound maybe represented by the many letters or combinations and the letters are there. So there are so many letters, they represents only some sounds, they may be represents some sounds, like example people. PEO, there are three letters, they represent only P sound. KEY, key. And we can see that there are three sounds, but they're representing only two sound symbols. Believe, BELIEVE, LIEVE. B, believe means here we can produce the sound like B, short E. That means the bar sound, short E, and last sound, and long E with the representation of with the wa sound. So VE, there are two letters, they are representing only one sound, like wa. LIE, it is representing as two sounds. One is a L consonant, La is consonant letter, long E, believe, long E representing vowel letter. Seize, CEIZE, seize. It is also CEI, that means SEIZE, SEI. There are three letters representing only sa sound like C. Machine, machine. Caesar, Caesar. So sa sound representing as za here. Seize, seize, see, amoeba, amoeba, like that. And the same letter may be represent the variety of sounds. Same letter may represent the variety of sounds, like try to understand the pronunciation. Father, village, badly, made, many. Here A sound, A letter representing with different sounds, like father. In father, it is producing as A. Village. In the word, A is able to produce with A, and badly. Here, badly, A is produced as Ya. Made, MJD, made, Ma. That means A sound is produced here, A, made, many, MANY. A sound is representing A in this particular word. And the combination of letters may be represented with single sound. That means there are so many combinations of letters, but they can also represent with single sound that we can understand. Shoot, SHOOT. That means there are two letters representing only one sound. Oo, shoot, character, character. Here, there are two letters CHA and CTER in the character word. First, CHA is representing as ca and CTR representing as a ka character, like Thomas, THO representing only tha, either, EITHER, either physics, physics, PHY is giving, the means PHY letters are giving only physics, only fa sound and short e. So then go through with the rough, U ROUGH. So here in physics, we can understand PHY representing as fa and ROUGH. Again, UGH is representing fa sound. Coat, deal, coat, deal. OAT, DEAL, deal. A single letter may represents with a combination of sounds like Xerox, Xerox. ZXE is representing as Z, and at the end of the word X representing as XA, XA sound. And some letters in the word may be not produced at the end of the end of the word, at the end. Why? Because atom, sword, resign, petridical, lamb, cop, psychology, right, not, atom. In the word atom, we are not able to produce the na, which is at the end of the word. And these are all what we can say that representing the voiceless sounds in English language. In general way, so many people they think that they are not pronounced because of their voiceless sounds. Sword, sword, voice is not pronounced here. W letter is not pronouncing here. Resign, size, that means G is not pronouncing here. And here, lamp, M is not pronouncing here. Corpse, COPS, corpse, in this word, R is not pronouncing here. Psychology, in this word, the letter P is not able to pronounce it. P is not able to pronounce it. Then we go through with the writing all the other things. They may be right. Right is a word, just we can easily understand W is not able to pronounce. And not, K, not K and O T, not, we can see that K is not able to pronounce it. There are many, there may be no letter to represent a sound that occurs in a word. There may be no letter that represents a sound that occurs in a word. Cute, use. U is pronouncing as U. Q, CU. CU, there is no letter like representing the sound. Is the CUTE is a word which represents as ka and U. Cute. So USC is representing as U. And when we go through with the international alphabetic, international phonetic alphabets that we have seen, IPA was invented in order to have a system in which there were no one-to-one correspondence between each sound and language and each phonetic symbol. In 1888, there will be an establishment of IPA. International Phonetic Alphabets. And someone who knows that IPA knows how to pronounce any word in any language. Someone who knows IPA, they can, here we can see some of the consonants there, for the example, letter. So first we have been observing here, there are the sounds. There are 24 vowel sounds and they are pronouncing like this. PIP, in PIP pronouncing as pip, BIB, bib, TEN as 10, DEN as den, CAT. CAT is the word, C represents as ka letter, and we have to understand that C also represents C letter, like the word SCEN, seen, SCEN, seen, SCINCE, science. Science, C letter also representing E sound, so ca sound and as well as C sound. Get, get, FISH, fish, THIGS, pick, THIG, this, 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 set, 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 ZOO, zoo, SHIP, 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 measure, yes is pronounced as Z, H, HEN, hen, church, CH as ch, judge, DGE as z, judge, man, 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 now, N-word, now, sing, SING, sing. So, these ma, na, and yam, ma sounds, they are nasal sounds. They are nasal sounds. We will see later on all about that. LET, let's, RIDE, right, WET, what, YET, yet. So YET, yet means here the last sound is ya, and we can see that there are two sounds that may be easily understand. One is consonant ya, and another one is vowel ya, that we can see in later. Look at the pure vowels. They are using, and there are pure vowels means it's a combination. It doesn't have any combinations. They are also called as monophthongs. Sheep. Here it is long E pronunciation. SHEP is long E pronunciation. Ship. 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 It's a short E pronunciation. Good. GO word. Even though we have two OO, good, two OO letters in this word, but we are able to produce a single, that means a short, small sound that is good. So look at the second one, shoot, SHOOT, shoot. Here it can be representing as long O, as long O. Two letters, two O letters represent long O. Then we can go through with A sound, BED, 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 bed. Teacher, TACHER. ER represents, that means there are certain rules and regulations for learning. R sound, R special, R letter, uh, where we can come across in the next session. And bird, IRD. EIR is long pronunciation, having bird, like door, 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 long O pronunciation. CAT, cat. Here it is the sound symbol of, yeah, up, UP, up. It's a short R pronunciation. Far, FAR, far. On, on. Then these are the sound symbols which we learned in our just now. Long E and short E. Short O and long O. C, sit. C, sit. Book, do. Ear. That means go through with the only uh, monophthongs here. A, men, America, A, word, 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 salt, SWOT, salt, CAT, cat, but, beauty, but, art, part, POT, sorry, PART, part, NOT, not. Go through with the vowel letters that may have diphthongs. Ear, it's ERE here, here, day, 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 AE diphthong. Tour, ua, tour, ua diphthong. Oi, boy, noi, for, like that. Boy, ow, go, ow, go. Air, wear, where, where. Air diphthong. I, my, how, how diphthong. And here, go through with the consonant P, that is pronounced as pa, pig. Bed, boys, bed. Tougher, time, D-O, do. Chuffer, church. Juffer, judge. Kefer, kilo. Jiffer, go. Let know, just five. Puffer, five. Before, very. Suffer, think. Duffer, the. Jesper, six. Zaffer, Zedovo, zoo. Short. SHORT, short, sharper, short, casual, cousin, mirage, like that, za represented here. M for milk, N for no, sing, ng for, it is a sound symbol that can be pronounced as ng, sing, hello, ha for hello, la for live, R for read, W for window, Ya for yes. And we'll go through with the articulated phonetics. We can try to understand the organs of the speech. Organs of the speech. Most of speech sounds are produced by pushing air through the vocal cords. That means almost all without vocal cords, we are not able to produce. A man who doesn't, that is a man who not able to listen properly, he cannot vibrate his vocal cord, and he may be called like a dumb. Like this, we can see that the vibration of vocal cords and maybe air pushing, that means pushing of the air through the vocal cords can be produced with sounds. They may be glottis. Glottis means the opening between the vocal cords. Opening between the vocal cords. And larynx is the voice box. Voice box. And the pharynx means tubular part of the throat above the larynx, and oral cavity. Oral cavity means mouth. Nasal cavity means nose and the passes the connecting it to the throat, and sinus and consonants, like sinus and consonant place, like ma, na, nga, like that. Then go through with the consonants. The sounds produced with some restrictions are closer in the vocal tract. Consonants are the sounds produced with the restrictions closer in the vocal cords, and consonants are classified in the base of the part of on the, where the vocal tract or airflow is being restricted. The place of articulation is restricted. The major places of articulations are bilabial, labiodental, interdental, alveolar, palatal, velar, ular, and glottal. The major articulation of the speech sounds may be bilabial. Bilabial means like a fa and ba. Pa and ba, what we can call it as bilabial sounds. Labiodental sounds like fa and va. Fa and va, they are called as labiodental sound. Look at the organs articulatory system. For nasal cavity, we are able to produce ma, na, nga. And for lips, labia, that means labia, bilabial or labial. And look at the larynx and inside of voice cord, look at the vocal cords and epiglottis and pharynx, where we can see the pharynx, and tongue and affix and orum, the back and the palate, the soft palate and hard palate, and alveolar. Then we can see the velar in this particular organs of the speech. Bilabials may already I told you that pa and ba, these are all the sound symbols, sounds that may be produced with joining two lips together. Joining two lips together. Produced by bringing both lips together as pa ba ma, pa ba ma, pa ba ma. And ma is a sound that we can has a nasal cavity, and that can be produced through nasal. So pa-ba is bilabials. And labiodentals, we can say that the fa-wa, produced by touching the uh, upper lip to the lower teeth, upper teeth to the lower lip, upper teeth to the lower lip, can say that fa-wa. And interdental, the the. Interdental means the. They produced by tongue, putting the upper lip to the tongue between the teeth. Upper, that means tongue between the teeth. Tongue between the teeth, like the. The tongue has to put between the upper teeth and lower teeth. That can be said the, like that. And alveolus, they are ta, da, na, sa, za, la, ra. And all these are produced by raising the tongue to the alveolar ridge some way. Alveolar ridge means the hard palate, which is upper to the teeth, that can be called as alveolar, and that they are raised together and they are go to the ridge and touch the ridge of alveolar ta da na sa za la ra, and ta da na produced by the tip of the tongue touching to the alveolar ridge are just in front of it, or touching to the alveolar ridge, like sa za produced the sides and the front of the tongue that raised, but the tip lowered to allow air to escape. Suz. And there may be escaping of the, there may be not touching. That means there may be not touching of the tongue to the alveolar ridge. Suz. And la is also the tongue of the tip has to be raised while the rest of the tongue remains down. So air can be escaped from the sides of the tongue, la, sides of the tongue. So tongue, tip of the tongue has to move towards the alveolar part, and the air has to be moved from the both sides. So that is a lateral. Then ra is air escape through the central part of the mouth, ra, and either the tip of the tongue is curled back and behind the alveolar ridge, or the top of the tongue is bounced up behind the alveolar ridge, ra, like that. Next, palatal. Palatal sounds are sh, z, sha, cha, z, ya, produced by the raising of the front part of the tongue to the palatal ridge. Sha, and that means that not the tip of the tongue, and the second part that is called as palatal, the front part of the tongue has to raise towards the teeth, towards the palatal part, like a sh, z, cha, z, z, ya. And velos. Velos are like a kaga, velos are kaga, produced by raising the back of the tongue and the soft palate or velum. Soft palate or velum. Kaga, na. And eulos are R and ka, ga, kaga, produced by raising the back of the tongue with vela, with r, g, k, like that. And glottis ha, and we can see that yeah, ha, yeah, producing by restricting the airflow through the open glottals like ha, or by stopping here by completely glottis or glottal stop. Ha. Then the manner of articulation is the way of the airstream. It is affected as it flows from the lungs and out of the mouth and nose. Lungs and mouth of the mouth and nose. And voiceless sounds are those produced with the vocal cords apart from, so they are flows freely through the glottis. Voice sounds are those produced while the vocal cords are together and vibrate and air that passes through it. So uh, while we are producing the voiceless sounds, the vocal cords are apart, and while we are producing voiceless sounds, the vocal cords are together. So while we are producing some sounds like pa, pa is a sound. It is a, we can produce this sound with a part of the vocal cords, and when we go through with ga, it is a voiceless sound that can be produced with vocal cords together. That is what we can understand voiceless and voiced sounds. So the voiced and voiceless distinctions between the English language, because it helps us to distinguish words like these: rope, robe, rope, robe. So while we are pronouncing rope, we are not able to joining vocal cords here. While we are producing the robe, we are able to articulate, we are able to produce the sound with the together of vocal cords. Fine, wine, seal, zeal, rope, robe, fain, vein, fain, vein, sil, zil. And but some voiceless sounds, they can be further distinguished as aspirated and unaspirated. Aspirated, unaspirated. Pool, spool, tail, stale, kale, scale. Like that, aspirated and unaspirated voiceless sounds are also there. And oral sounds, those are produced with the velum, which will prevent air from escaping out of the nose. Ma, na, sing, song, English, like that. Nasal sounds are those produced with the velum lower to low, allow air escape from out of the nose. So far we have the three ways of classifying sounds based on the phonetic features: by voicing, by the place of articulation, by the nasalization. Pa is a voiceless, bilabial, and oral sound. Na is voiced and alveolar nasal sound. Like that, stops, pa, ba, ma, ta, da, na, ka, ga, cha, ja. These are all the produced completely by stopping the airflow in the oral cavity of a fraction of a second. Pa, like that. Ba, ma. All other sound constants, meaning that the airflow is continuous to the oral cavity. Fa, ba, tu. That means that we are stopping the voice for producing pa, ba, ma, ta, da, na, ka, ga, cha, ja, za, z. And where we are producing, where we are leaving the sound, they are called as fricatives. Fa, va, tha, the, sa, za, sha, za, xa, ra, ha, produced by severally obstructing the airflow as so as to cause the friction. And fricatives is cha, z, produced by stalk of the closure that is released with a lot of friction, lot of what we can say friction. The sound that means the force, like sh, z, like liquids, La and Ra produced by causing some of the obstructions of the airstream in the mouth, but not enough to cause any real friction. La, Ra. And glides like Va and Fa produced with very low obstruction of the airstream and are always followed by a vowel. So approximants Va and Ya, Ra, La sometimes liquids or glides are put together into one category because the articulatory of approximate a frictional closeness but do not actually causes the friction. Actually causes the friction. Thrills and flops like Ran La, Ran Ya. Thrills are produced by rapidly vibrating on articulator flaps are produced by a flick of the tongue and against the alveolar lids. Like clicks produced by moving an air stream mouth between articulatory between various articulations. And once again, try to go through with the alveolar lids and nose, upper lip, lower teeth, tongue. For tongue, you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are the parts of the tongue, tip of the tongue, and front part of the tongue, then the middle of the tongue, then we can see end part of the tongue. And larynx and glottis, they are most probably related to the vocal cords. And pharynx and uvula. And look at the hard palate and velar and upper teeth. Then soft palate like a velum. And from this, I would like to conclude my session about the usage of phonetic sounds.